Hello everyone and welcome back to this video on my model railway series. So today's subject is the S69 Saga, a tale of three B12s. And kind of an interesting title, isn't it? And this all come about because after we finished off at the inaugural modular exhibition at Statfold barn, we got to talking about model locomotives with realistic chuffing sound, and Laurie tried running his at the show and it just wasn't behaving, so sadly it didn't get to run. But it got me to thinking, well, okay, so everyone knows about the Flying Scotsman with realistic chuffing sound. Not too many people know that Hornby, well, Triang / Hornby, also made a model of the LNER B12 with realistic chuffing sound, and the B12 was originally known as the class S69. They were built from 1911 to 1921 for the Great Eastern Railway, which is a precursor of the LNER, which reclassified them as the B12. So I was thinking, well, I kind of want a realistic chuffing sound locomotive of my own. Can I justify having a B12? Because I was thought of them as express engines, which indeed was what they were originally envisaged for. They were going to replace the Claude Hamilton 440s, running out of London up to Kings Lynn, Ipswich, and other parts on the Eastern network. However, later in their life, obviously they got surpassed, and you could find B12s running into Wisbech. Now, long-time viewers of the channel will know I am a very big fan of the Wisbech and Upwell tramway. So although the B12s didn't run on the tramway, they did run into and through Wisbech, which is obviously one end of the tramway line. So I was like, okay, now call it my undiagnosed autism, if you want to say that I've got it. That's debatable, but anyway, I got this thing in my head and I knew that I'd be left with this kind of empty feeling until I got one of these models for myself. So onto eBay I went and promptly come across one for sale. Obviously these are all second hand, because although you can still buy a Hornby B12, the newer models are very expensive and do not have the realistic chuffing sound. You have to go to the older model, which was carried on from Triang days all the way through until I think it was still in the catalogue 10 years ago. So it's certainly outlasted the realistic chuffing sound Flying Scotsman. So I was on the hunt and I come across one in the northeastern wartime livery. There was actually loads of these, but I went and I purchased one and I was all excited, and it came and it didn't match the description at all. It just didn't want to go. It was, the body shell was damaged, bits hanging off. It was just a disaster. So got in touch with the seller and he said, sure, okay, pop it in the post and we'll give you a refund. I was like, okay, can't complain at that. You know, fair seller, you know, there was a problem with it. They took it back. And so okay, I need another one. So I went and found another one in the same livery. I was like, oh, description says in great condition, hardly run. Box is in good condition, so on and so forth. Right, I'll buy it. So that was over 2 weeks ago that I purchased that. And I hadn't got the refund for the first one by this point. But I was, okay, the refund is coming. Go buy this one. Anyway, got posted on the Monday. On the Wednesday, Royal Mail said, oh, it's reached your local depot, but we cannot identify the address for it to be delivered to, so we need to return it to sender. We're like, oh no. So I got in touch with the seller and told them this, and he was like, well, that's very odd because it was a printed label from Royal Mail. How could it? So he got in touch with Royal Mail. They said, oh, there seems to be some kind of mistake. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the label. We can deliver it. I'll try and get it stopped and get it sent out for delivery. That was on the Wednesday. On the Friday, it moved back from my local depot to Sheffield. Then we had the May Bank holiday. So on the Wednesday, it was marked as at Sheffield again. Like, okay, that doesn't seem to be moving back in the right direction. Anyway, the post, he came and saw me with a load of paperwork. I was like, okay, I haven't put in the complaint. I shouldn't be looking at this paperwork. It's the seller that needs to deal with this. As well, my local manager is trying to work out what's going on, so on and so forth. He sent me this. Okay, well, I can't do anything with the paperwork. I've not raised a complaint. It's the seller that needs to deal with it. So off the postman went. On the Thursday, it was noted as being moved to Nottingham depot, which is close to the seller. On the Friday, it moved back to Sheffield. On Saturday, it moved back to Nottingham. And if you check the tracking, as of yesterday, it was still at Nottingham. But the seller actually got it back on Saturday. So it's like, what on earth is going on? The tracking's saying it's still in Nottingham depot. Seller's telling me he's got it, so he sent it out again. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, I was like, oh, if I can't get this model, I need to find another one. And I did. And it's a newer Hornby one. Still has a chuffing sound, but it has the separate handrails on the side. The body is absolutely gorgeous. It's in a British Rail blue livery. So I got a reminder on my phone. eBay, this is ending soon. I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm ever going to get this other one. Bye. So bought it with 8 minutes to go, and I don't know whether I'm confusing it with another advert. I need to go and have a look back. But it turns out, I think the advert was edited, because you can do that on eBay. I think it was edited after I initially looked at it. But anyway, it says that there's some wear on the cogs. So when it arrived, body shell, the screw was only halfway in. Alright, okay, yeah. And yeah, it's a terrible run. I spent ages messing with the worm screw, trying to adjust it to even get it to move at all. because otherwise it'd just sit there and buzz because the motor couldn't move because the gears are not meshing. And you'll see in the video of when I try and run it, you have to push down on it and you can coax it into life, but obviously it's going to be useless. Cannot even consider taking it to a model railway show for an exhibition. So anyway, going back to, so that's B12 number 3. Moving back to number 2, the seller had sent it out again on Monday, and I got it yesterday. Opened it up last night. Oh, the screw is loose in the box, and one of the leading bogie wheels is not there. I lift the model out, the shell comes out in my hand, and of course, because there's nothing to retain it, the other bogie wheel and the axle just fall out. Luckily, the wheel was in the box. I was like, this doesn't look much like nearly new. Great condition. So, yeah, I messaged the seller. I was like, this is not how you described it at all. I'm actually heartbroken after all the effort we've gone to back and forth getting it sent out a second time. And I sent a couple of pictures and said, is there any chance you've got more than one and I've been sent the wrong one? And the centre wheels, I know on the early Triang ones, they never had flanges. But the wheels look like they did have flanges, and someone's pulled them off with a pair of pliers because the middle wheels are a bit chewed up. I was like, I can't think of any other reason for them to be chewed up. And I was like, oh, what on earth's going on? And what I think it is I think it's actually a later chassis. I think it's one of the Hornby ones. And they've pulled the middle flanges off the wheels because the wheels don't line up. There's a gap between them and the track of about 1 millimeter, which would be in line with the flanges on front and back wheels. And so yeah, I think it is a later, newer chassis, but someone wanted it to go around first radius curve, so they've just pulled the wheels off. So yeah, so I've not got a perfect model out of the 2 I've got. I am going to order a replacement worm gear and what have you for model number 3. Number 2, I was able to refit the wheels and what have you, and it does run. It takes quite a lot of power to get it to run. I think it just needs good service. So the chassis is good. Shame about the centre wheels, but what I'm tempted to do is just get it serviced, and for now I'm going to put the newer body on that chassis and run that as is. The chassis that needs work will be having the northeastern body, but that is going to get paint stripper and is going to be re-liveried as a Great Eastern Railway S69, because that was the whole idea when I started this. I wanted an S69. So that will be getting repaint. I will use the newer shell as a basis for moulding handrails, because I don't think I'm going to be able to buy the handrail separately, which is a shame, but it is what it is. But yeah, the bodies still use the same retaining screw and tab, which is crazy when you think about how many years this model's been available. So you will have seen them running in the video by now. So finish off, I'll give you a closer look at the two models. So first up, we're going to have number 2, which is the better running one. And you can see how the center wheels have, I can only assume it's pliers or something that's damaged these wheels. I can't think how you'd get them like this in regular use, but it does run. And then moving on to the other one, I'll show you. Can't really see on the camera too well, but the gears are slightly damaged and they are plastic, whereas on the other one you'll have seen it was, I assume it's brass worm gear, so much more durable, and that's what I'm going to replace it with. And yeah, that is the story of my S69 Saga. So stick around if you want to see me actually make the improvements to these. I can't guarantee it'll be quick. There's a few other videos that are going to come out between now and then. We've still got the wiring tube points video, which is sitting on the PC ready to be edited and chopped about. I may actually re-record it. I don't know. We've got the rewiring of my modular board. So that's going to be done so we can control it using 2 separate controllers, as we did at the show. But we won't have to be pulling wires in and out in order to do that. So anyway, that's going to bring this one to a wrap, guys. If you have enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. Share it out, maybe, if you think it warrants that. And if you haven't subscribed, a subscription will be great. Means you'll get to see any further videos, both on this S69 videos, the modular layout, or even more train games. So that said, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.